Hello, in this tutorial we're going to look at how to access other objects with a script and modify the components of other objects. So in the previous tutorials where we've used scripts, we've always attached the script to the object that we want to modify. So for example, if during the game we want to transform this cube that I've got here, so if we want to translate or move it somewhere else, or we want to rotate it, or change its scale during the game, then we'd create a script using the transform and or transform methods, and then we would attach that script to the cube. So we'd drag the script onto the cube, and then the script that's modifying this cube's components would be attached to the cube. But in this tutorial, we're going to look at how to make a script that can access this object, the cube, and modify its components, like its position, its rotation and scale, but the script is not going to be attached to the actual cube. It's going to be attached to something else, like the main camera. Okay, so we can access other objects using a script. So basically all I've got here is a main camera. I've got a new scene. There's a main camera, directional light, and a cube here. Okay, and the main camera is just looking straight at that cube. So what we'll do is we'll create a script. So I'll just go into my scripts folder, and I'm just going to right click there, click on create C# script, and I'm going to call it move other object. Okay, couldn't think of a better name. So it's called move other object. I'm going to drag it onto the main camera, so not the cube, but the main camera. Just let go. So now if I go to the main camera in the hierarchy, that script should be attached here. There it is. So move other object script. There it is. So I can double click on that or I could double click down there on the script to open it up in MonoDevelop. And so now, just yeah. So now if I go into MonoDevelop, I've got this script here which I can start working on. So got using Unity Engine, using system collections, that's what we want. Don't need to touch any of that. Public class, move other object, mono behavior. Okay, so this is where we'll start. So just before the start method and the void, the update method, we're going to add another method. So basically, just add a comment here, and I'll just say this is the other game object you want to access. Okay, so I'm going to type in public game object target. Okay, so sorry, I'm not creating another method, just adding that there. So public game object target just before the start and update methods. Okay, then in the start method, inside the start method, we're going to say target equals game object dot find. So we're going to be using this find, which actually needs to be capital F, and we're going to find the object, which is, if we just go back to Unity, is called cube. So you need to call it by its name. So its name is cube. So back in MonoDevelop, inside quotation marks and brackets, we're going to say target equals game object dot find cube, and then just end that line with a semicolon. So basically, we're to target. We're trying to access another object in this game, and the target, the object that we're trying to access, is the cube here. So we're trying to find that cube. Okay, now we can go down to the update method, and inside the update method we want to say target.transform, or whatever we want to do to this object, but we're going to be transforming it here, and that should be in lowercase. So target.transform.translate. So firstly I'm just going to move it around. I'm just going to move it on the Z axis, so I'll just move it forward. So I'll say 0F for the x-axis, it's not going to move anywhere on the x-axis. 0F for the y-axis, it's not going to move anywhere on the y-axis. and maybe 0.1. So we'll just move very slowly to start with on the z-axis. We can change that if we want to. All right, we might also rotate it. So we'll say target dot transform dot rotate, and in brackets I'll say 0f 0f 1f. So we'll just rotate it on the z-axis. And lastly, we'll do a scale. Scale it up a bit. So target dot transform dot local scale equals new vector 3, and then we'll scale it up, say 1.5 on each axis, on all three axes. So, all right, so that's all we're going to do. So, you can do whatever you want in this update method here to modify the object or modify the components of the object that you're accessing. But in this example, basically I've got this game object target. I've got the target being a cube, so it's called cube with a capital C, so I'm going to access that cube, and that's the cube is going to be stored inside this variable here called target. So we don't have to say this GameObject.find cube every time we want to do something with it. We can just say target. So inside the update method, we've got target.transform, and then we have translate, rotate, and local scale. So if this if this script was attached to the actual cube object, then all you'd be saying is transform.translate, transform.rotate, and the actual values there for the different axes. But because we've got a target another object that we're accessing, we need to put target dot before each of those statements there, or whatever you call this variable here, but I've just called it target. Okay, so we'll save that script. We can then go back to Unity, and now we should be able to play this game. And there we go, it's moving forward and it's rotating, and it did increase its size, but it did it straight away, so probably didn't notice it. But if we have a look here, it's a small cube, and as soon as we click on play, it's a little bit bigger. Alright, so that's it. So we've got this cube moving forward, it's changed its scale, it's rotating at the same time, it's just going to disappear into the horizon. But the thing is that script is not attached to this cube in any way. So there's no scripts there in the inspector for the cube, but when we go to the main camera, we have that script down here. And you can also see, because we made that target, we made target a public variable, it's also accessed here as well. So we could even go and change the target from there, pick something else. But yeah, that's it. So that's how to access other objects in Unity and how to modify their components using C#. Thanks for watching.